Before We Are Strangers Again. Chapter 1. Ricki Caldwell had spent her entire life believing some memories were best left where they belonged, buried beneath the sun-drenched haze of her teenage summer abroad. But life, in all its twisted sense of humor, had other plans. Plans that came wrapped in white folding chairs, tropical drinks, and a beach wedding full of people she barely remembered. She stood barefoot on the wooden deck of the beachside resort in Maui, holding a flute of champagne and forcing a smile as her cousin Nicole giggled under a veil of hibiscus flowers. Ricki adjusted her sunglasses and squinted toward the shore. Everything looked like it was pulled from a Pinterest board. The rolling waves, the slow-burn acoustic version of Here Comes the Sun, the men in linen shirts and women in soft pastels. And then she saw him, Tanner. He was older, of course. So was she. But some part of him, the tilt of his smile, the way he stood with his hands shoved in his pockets, like he had too many thoughts to hold, hit her in the chest like a slingshot to the heart. Her breath caught for half a second, sharp and unwilling, as the past surged forward in waves louder than the ocean. She didn't know he'd be here. She hadn't said his name aloud in nearly 30 years, not since she stopped checking the mailbox for his last letter, not since the phone call that cost a fortune and ended with silence, not since life kept moving, college careers, her almost marriage, his probably sippings, or so she thought. He turned toward her, and she knew the exact second he recognized her. His posture shifted. His eyes squinted in disbelief, then widened. He mouthed something. It might have been Ricki, or holy hell, or maybe just wow, but she couldn't hear it over the sudden drum of her pulse in her ears. "Excuse me," she said to no one, slipping away from the group of cousins who were deep in some story about airport drama. Her feet moved on instinct, slow and cautious, across the sand-colored deckboards, until she was standing just 10 feet from him. "Tanner Andrews," she said, not quite believing the words as they left her mouth. His grin lit up the space between them like a fuse. "Ricki Caldwell," he replied, his voice deeper, rougher than she remembered. "I'd say small world, but damn, this is more like divine mischief," she laughed. It wasn't pretty or rehearsed. It was raw and surprised and just a little breathless. He stepped closer. "You look exactly the same," he said, scanning her face like he was reading a passage from a book he'd memorized but never fully understood. "Don't lie," she said with a smirk, brushing her hair off her neck. "I've got sun damage and bifocals now," he chuckled. "Still funny too." There was a pause. A long one, the kind that happens when two people are standing on a fault line, knowing that one wrong word could shatter the ground beneath them, or maybe crack it open in the best possible way. "I wasn't sure you were real anymore," he said finally, voice low and earnest. "I mean, sometimes I'd hear a song, or I'd think about Rome in the rain and wonder if I made you up. You didn't," she said. "You just let me go." He nodded slowly, guilt flickering behind his eyes. "I know it wasn't supposed to be forever, just until life slowed down, but life never really did." "No," she said, "it doesn't." They stood there, the air between them thick with memories, sand, and something else, something that hadn't entirely died after all these years. "So," he said, tipping his glass toward hers, "what are the chances the two kids who used to kiss behind the fountains of Florence could actually still be compatible after all this time?" She didn't answer right away. Her eyes drifted out toward the surf where the sun was setting in streaks of orange and pink, and the air smelled like coconut oil and second chances. "I guess we're about to find out," she said. And just like that, the summer that never really ended began again. If this story stirred something in you, tell me, have you ever had a love that slipped through time? Don't forget to like the video if it hit you in the heart. Comment below your favorite part or a moment that gave you chills, and subscribe for more stories that remind us the past never really lets go. Because some loves deserve a second chance, even decades later.